Well, hey, everybody, welcome back to the Daily Six. Brought you out here to some farmland not far from our home. It's a little windy, there's some traffic noise here, but I wanted you to see this because God is going to use a farmer in the scriptures to set his people free. Would you get Judges chapter 6 open and let's take a look at it together. Judges 6, come on with me. So if you were with us yesterday on the Daily Six, we were looking at these cycles that you and I would look at as cycles of disobedience, cycles of failure. But from God's perspective, they were cycles of compassion. Yes, God's people would turn away from him. They would forsake him and forget him. But then, as they suffered the consequences of that, in his compassion, when they cried out to God, God was right there with deliverance. And so we're going to see another one of those stories, cycle after cycle after cycle. Well, let's look at this in Judges chapter 6, beginning in verse 1. It says that again, the Israelites did evil in the eyes of the Lord. And for 7 years, he gave them into the hands of the Midianites. And because the power of Midian was so oppressive, the Israelites had to prepare shelters for themselves in the mountain clefts and caves and strongholds. And whenever the Israelites planted their crops, the Midianites, the Amalekites, other eastern peoples invaded the country. They camped on the land, they ruined the crops all the way to Gaza, and they did not spare a living thing for Israel, neither sheep, nor cattle, nor donkeys. They came up with their livestock and their tents and like swarms of locusts. And it was impossible to count the men and their camels, so they invaded the land to ravage it. And Midian so impoverished the Israelites that they cried out to the Lord for help. Boy, you understand this, don't you? That farming and the provision of food and crops and animals that we're able to sustain life by, when that gets ravaged by an enemy, it becomes so oppressive. It's one thing to be oppressed politically and governmentally. It's a whole other thing to be hungry and starving. And so in that context, as the farmland was decimated by the Midianites, the people of Israel once again cried out to God. In verse 7, it says that when the Israelites cried out to the Lord because of Midian, he sent them a prophet. And here's what that prophet said. This is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says. I brought you up out of Egypt, out of the land of slavery, and I snatched you from the power of Egypt, from the hand of all your oppressors. God self-identifies. In his appeal he's making to Israel, he self-identifies as one who can and will and has been a deliverer. I've delivered you out of Egypt. I can do it again. You only have to turn to me and trust me. Well, let's keep reading verse 11. The angel of the Lord came and sat down under the oak in Ophrah that belonged to Joash the Abiezrite, where his son Gideon was threshing wheat. Now, this is important, friends, and this is where we come out here to this farm field. The context, the Lord is going to appear to a guy named Gideon. He is a farmer. In verse 12, he says that when the angel of the Lord appeared to Gideon, the angel says to Gideon, this farmer, the Lord is with you, mighty warrior. Now, I think it's super important. Here's something the Lord's showing me. Gideon is just an average, ordinary farmer. He's threshing wheat. He's out trying to do what he can to maintain some food for the Israelites. He doesn't see himself as a mighty warrior. He sees himself as one of the oppressed people just trying to survive. But the Lord says to him, the Lord is with you, mighty warrior. And I'm struck by this, that in whatever oppression I might be experiencing in my life, hardships, difficulties, and God says, I'm going to be with you. You are a mighty warrior. Rise up and trust me spiritually. You're a mighty warrior spiritually. I may not see myself as that. I may see myself as a victim of whatever oppressive thing is going on in my life. But God says, I'm going to be with you. So rise up in the strength that you have. Gideon protests, verse 13. He says, if the Lord is with us, why has all this happened to us? Boy, that's a common question, isn't it? God, if you're really with me, why is all this hardship happening? Why don't you just prevent this hardship from happening to me? But verse 14, the Lord turned to him and he says to Gideon, go in the strength that you have and save Israel out of Midian's hand. Am I not sending you? But Lord, Gideon asked, how can I save Israel? My clan is the weakest in Manasseh. I'm the least in my family. But the Lord answered, I will be with you, and you will strike down all the Midianites together. Together. God's saying, you and me, together, we're going to do this. And the Lord says to Gideon, a farmer, go save Israel. Go in the strength that you have. Gideon's like, I don't have any strength. And God said, I will be with you. We will do this together. Friends, the strength that you and I have is not our own. The strength to overcome our enemies is not our own. It's that the Lord will do this together. Friends, can you give God 6 more minutes, and can you rejoice in that? In whatever circumstance it is that you're facing, God is with you. He will do this journey with you together if you will only rise up and believe. Give God 6 more minutes. Work out your faith. God's presence with you, mighty warrior. Go in the strength you have. 6 more minutes, and come on back tomorrow. We'll talk some more about Gideon right here on the Daily 6.